All right, folks, welcome back to Midwest Long Range. Today we're going to do BS at the bench. Obviously, last time we were at Recon by Fire with Bud Weber. Today we're back in the home shop. Me and Dalton are here. We got a good friend of mine, Robert Clark. He's going to be joining us. We'll talk about some perspectives of his from a person outside the sport looking in, kind of a new shooter looking to possibly get in and get involved. But first, I gotta quit yelling. That thing is right there.
Darth Vader.
Fucking Darth Vader. I'm telling you, and I'm trying to like step away so that it doesn't pick me up breathing, because that dude commented on my video the other day. He's like, "Man, love you. One of my favorite content creators." But see, I did it right there. I took a deep breath. He's like, but your breathing haunts my dreams.
I'm laughing on the inside hysterically about this because I've noticed it the whole time I've been around you shooting, but I that's just it. I've been around you long enough. I don't freaking think about it no more.
Well, you've been around me my whole life. But yeah, it's like I get on the gun and I'm like, in the video, it seems exaggerated because to me, I'm just like, it just feels like I'm like, but on that stupid little mic right there, I sound like Darth Vader. I am your father. It was, and since I read the comment, the funny thing is, it was like the weekend before. I was in Arkansas for the Benton Gun Club match, and I was at my brother-in-law and sister's house. My dad was there, and they wanted to show my dad some of my videos. And my dad's sitting there, he's like, "Why are you breathing so hard?" And then not even a week later, I get a comment on a video that my breathing haunts somebody's dreams.
Well,
like, I feel really bad about this.
You straight up get that from your dad.
It's hereditary.
It is. Because your dad all the time.
Yeah, he purrs. He purrs.
Walking around working.
So, but like I said, we were in Arkansas shooting Benton Gun Club match. So,
Yep.
One thing I'm going to talk about today is the MWLR Series,
Yep.
the Rimfire Series. We're 3 matches in. We've shot Mean Greens, Recon by Fire, and Benton. So, with all of that, 3 matches down, 3 totally different ranges, 3 totally different course of fire. And today, which for everybody out there in YouTube land, today is Sunday, whatever the date is, the 5th?
4th, 5th.
5th.
Yep.
I just posted the series points to the Facebook group, and I believe Sam Kincaid
It's in first.
is in first place. You're in second right now. I think I'm down like 4th or 5th or something like that, somewhere in there. But there's some guys who don't have their 3rd match.
Yep.
So in case you haven't looked at it, you probably don't know. But in this series that we're putting on, we have 3 ranges, and you gotta have one match at each range to qualify for the points race.
Yep.
Now there's 3 matches at each range, so everybody has a chance to make one.
Yep.
But if you go to all of them, you get to pick. Essentially, we're going to use your top score.
Yep.
Okay.
And then for every match you shoot outside of the 3 you need, you get a bonus point toward your points race score at the end of the season. So with that, there's a couple of guys, Morgan Keener and Jeremy Boyer, especially. They've both won matches. Well, Morgan's won 2 matches.
Yeah.
2 of the 3, but neither one of them. They're both missing 1 match.
Yep.
To be technically in the points race,
Right.
but they're in the hunt.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, Morgan won your match at the very first one.
Very first one. This match we just come off of at Benton.
Yeah, but now me and Bud were talking about this the other day, and you know, one thing we're doing very different than like the PRS or the NRL is just because you win that match, we're not see those other point series. When you run their series, their points are based on percentage.
Yep.
So okay, so if you get first place, you get 100 points.
Gotcha.
Whether you actually got 100 impacts or not, or there may not even been 100 points in the match.
And then that's kind of the curve it's graded off of. Or if he gets 100, well, if you're behind him, you're going to get 98% of the match, allotted points.
Yeah. So in our series, though, 1 point or one impact equals 1 point. You set your score, right? Now we have to take into consideration some ties and stuff like that. Some things will have to be worked out, shootouts or whatever we choose to do. Time. I mean, I know there's been some time stages and what have you. I don't want to do any more time stages.
No, I think we and myself at my range going to try to do away with the time skill stage, and we're going to try to come up with a universal tiebreaker stage in case we come down to that and there is a tie to be broke.
Yeah. So one thing that happens with this is, for instance, Morgan, he shot the very first match. That was a windy, nasty day. The weather did not cooperate. I don't remember. We had full value wind. It was nasty.
Yep.
And in 22, that's bad. Right. That's like real bad.
I think he took first with 51 points of 80 possible.
Yeah. So there's a lot of points left on the table for that match.
Right.
So, just because he won it doesn't mean I don't even have to get first place. I may come back and have to, I may get 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place, but still shoot better than a 50. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, one of those deals there, we've got to, everybody's got to be aware that just because you won doesn't mean you're safe.
Yeah.
You get 1 point per impact. And so, like the first 2 matches, Mean Greens and Recon by Fire, both of those were fairly low scoring matches.
Yep.
I mean, I think at Bud's match, the winner usually shoots 75-ish points, something like that, just on his course of fire. But those 2 matches had really bad weather conditions, so there's a lot of points left on the table. Somebody could come up and grab it right now.
Yep.
And we're going to Recon next weekend.
Yep.
By the time everybody sees this video, we will have been to Recon. So, keep those points in mind. We're filming this on Sunday the 5th.
Yep.
We'll be in Oklahoma on the 11th. So, and then this video will probably come out that Tuesday following that match. So, the points will change by the time you guys see this. But what have you thought about it so far?
Kind of a biased opinion, but I'm loving it. I am. I like the fact that and like I've said before, I don't want to say that we want to outdo or,
we're just doing something different.
Just doing something different, yeah. Not trying to throw slack to either one of the series, but do something different and really promote traveling, bringing these groups together. One of the biggest points of this series was the guys in Benton. That's a big area that have a lot of potentially shooters, but all of them travel for matches. They don't have a home range, so to speak of, that's easy for them to get to.
Yeah. There's that new range down there, Twisted
Barrel. They've definitely been
they're
hot
hitting
topic.
Hard in the centerfire world.
Possibly doing some rimfire stuff later, potentially. But yeah, it just whatever discrepancies people had with one series or the other, it was kind of maybe trying to bring more of the shooters' involvement in it and get some of these opinions from the shooters that spent a lot of time and money involved with these series and kind of give them what maybe they wanted different. That was my biggest reason for starting it. But
yeah. Well, we've shot 3 matches.
Yep.
Me and you we've been at all 3.
Yep.
Obviously, your match, you said that your first one was yours.
Yeah.
So you might have a little bit of a biased opinion, but the weather killed us all.
It did. My range is good for that.
It's an equalizer. It's wide open, you get up we shoot the long range stage out of this tower, and I'm telling you, I've been in that tower when there's a greenhouse over beside it with a plastic over it and everything. the wind's been so bad that the plastic's like flopping.
Yep.
Everybody's gonna watch this video. I'm like doing the fucking chicken. But you know, that thing, you get up there and it's just weird.
Yeah.
And I mean, 320 yards ish, roughly, depending on the day, is what we shoot out of that stage. And I've held everything from 0.2 of a mil to 3 to 4 full mils.
Yeah.
It's like, and I've had to change my hold in the middle. Yep. It's like, oh, you're aiming at this target, shoot, you hit that target over there, it's a crap. So then you move and you get a couple of impacts, and then you go to do the same thing on that target, but you hit this target, you're like, crap. But I mean, out of the three matches we've been to so far, has there been a stage that just jumped out at you? One that you just like was a real ass kicker, or just was a lot of fun? Or
oh man, I get my ass kicked every time I go to one. But the one thing I want to say with this, when we knew this going into it, it's kind of part of the, you know, what we was going for when we planned this. But just from me to Bud Weber at Oklahoma, we've been shooting roughly around the same time, shooting the same style, yada yada. But man, the way he sets up a match, the way I do, is totally different. And you really only got so much you can do. You know, the props are pretty universal at this point. This sport's been going on long enough. Everyone's got a tank trap. Everyone's got a rooftop. Everyone has some kind of maybe log or tire stage, or you know, what have you. But just the diversity in matches has been neat. It has. So,
give you some backstory. Like, we go to Dalton's match, right? Mm-hmm. And we shoot out of a tower. We shoot on, in, and through a car.
Yep.
Okay. And we shoot. You had a 4-wheeler, I think.
4-wheeler.
A John Deere corn planter, an old metal one. But then
cattle gates.
Cattle gates, stuff like that. Now we went to Bud Weber's match in Oklahoma. Bud had, now you're at Dalton's match, you have those are kind of his props, but you're in an open field, right?
Yep. Sure.
Wide ass open, wind blowing like hell. You go to Bud's match, we're down at a creek bottom.
Yep.
Literally the creek runs through the range.
Okay.
And the wind does some some switchy weird stuff.
Yep.
Because when we were there last time, that creek was moving. You need like one of them sit-in kayaks, and you could have went off his waterfall or something.
There's your new prop.
He doesn't need a boat simulator. We can I wonder if he can tie a kayak up in the middle of the creek, and you can get out there.
This has been talked about, but Bud, floating targets.
Floating targets.
We could send a target down that river.
That'd be interesting. But like, so you go to Bud's match, and you know he's got standard PRS barricade, which y'all both do. He's got stuff like that, but he's got the rocks down there that just kills me every time. The tree of misery, whatever that thing is. This thing is wonky as hell. And then he just put in those big culvert deals, tubes. Yep. That was really cool to do. I'm trying to think of what else. He had tires and some stuff like that. Anyway, I can't remember all of it, but his targets are really different. Bud runs movers.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So there, you know, where you don't run movers.
No, I ain't got a mover yet. Something I do try to do though, rather than having just a static target, I try to have, you know, reactive targets.
You do the snake charmer.
You've
been using my animal targets.
Animal that are popper targets. It's one that I can't take credit for it. Another match director that I'm pretty good friends with come up with it, but it's just a simple 5-inch target suspended by one chain. So you gotta it's
a pain in the butt.
Stuff like that.
That chain, it's sitting there, and when you hit it, it goes wonky, but you're on a time limit. You've got to get so many rounds off, and then which Bud did that target like I've got here on the range that Stan gave me. That we're talking about doing something with, but he does it to where you have to basically pull cards and you have to shoot a certain one based on your card color. But then, so those are your two ranges. Mm-hmm. Then we go to Benton. Yeah, Benton's totally different.
Totally different.
Like you shoot Bud's and Dalton's match. We're in open fields. You know, we got room. You go to Benton. This is a legit gun range, right? I mean, which they're all legit gun ranges, but.
Gun club.
There's big backstops and gravel, and we're on a firing line, covered, right? And it was for guys who are new to the sport, like you may not know the difference between PRS and NRL, but shooting at Benton was it felt very NRL.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. It's a different types of barricades, different types of discipline, different types of distances.
Sure.
And a lot more like Cully ran the color stage.
Yep.
Where you're prone on the ground, you got to get up, get a card, get a color, engage that target twice, so on and so forth. I don't know, even when we shot the PRS, I mean, every range is different, every course of fire is different, but I feel like we've really shown 3 different states, 3 different types. We've really brought a lot of variance to the table for the shooters, myself included. I mean, it's hard to prepare when you're like, well, crap, what are we doing this week? I mean, you hear me and him talk about it, all this stuff, and I know me and you talk on the phone, and I tell you about what we've been doing. You bought that little Savage 22 that's kind of Savage's introduction to the NRL. It's like their version.
Okay.
You hear about it and stuff. I mean, you hear me talk crap all the time, and me and you've been into guns together for a long time. So, what do you think about all this mess?
Well, outsider perspective, and not having that readily available, not necessarily in my state, but local in my state. There's no market for it up there. I can't go down to local gun shop and find it. So my only real knowledge of it is through you, and of course talking to you halfway across the country. So it's not like I can jump in the car, drive down, do a shoot, go back home. It's a 3-day trip.
Yeah, that's no joke. Well, and one thing, so in case everybody's wondering, he's from Oregon. We won't hold that against him, even though his state is like, they hate me. Well, they hate what we do, right? Yeah. But some of the top, I don't know what kind of rimfire they have in Oregon. I've never really looked out west.
They do lots of clays and that kind of stuff out there.
Yeah, lots of that. But I do know there's some big, because Leopold's out there. Yep. So there's some big NRL hunter matches going to take place out west. I don't know if it's Washington, Oregon, Idaho. Yep. But that kind of northwestern corner. And that's one thing I was telling him is there's a good chance I'm going to find myself on an aeroplane. I may have to bring a pair of rifles so that we can go.
Like you were talking there, that it doesn't get talked about as often, or I guess advertised, but where you are there regionally,
it matters.
It matters because there's a lot of big heavy hitter shooters that have been around for years now, not in the rimfire world, but centerfire, PRS, when the NRL come about, which the race gun series is now disbanded, I guess, but Scott Satterley is the first one that comes to my mind. He's up there. All the guys, Gunworks guys, Phil Vallejo, he's associated with Gunworks. Kalen Wojcik, I think he's
the guy I get all my centerfire barrels through. Anthony Ward, Crown Ridge Barrel Works. He's in upstate Washington.
Yep.
I mean, I'm pretty sure from his house you can wave at Canada. Yeah. But. So, I mean, you don't have this, or to your knowledge, you don't.
Yeah,
right? There may be some NRL clubs, but, I mean, you live kind of in rural Oregon anyway, don't you? So, I mean, things are pretty spread out.
Yep.
Which he's a cable man, so he drives all over the place.
Yeah.
Right. And we're mountainous versus flatland, so finding those 500 range, all that, is a little more difficult out there as well.
And we don't need but 300 yards, homie.
But even that, it's a little more tricky. You have to find someone's private land. Because most of that public land is mountainous.
Yeah.
I tell you what would be cool. They don't have it. It'd be cool to go host a Midwest Long Range exhibition rimfire match in Oregon.
Okay.
I wonder if we can get Weber on a plane. Well, I mean, he's round.
Yeah.
Right? Like a Weber. No, sorry. That's a really bad joke. Bud will get it because, I asked him if Mr. Weber was going to bring me a Weber grill. And he did not. He didn't see the humor in it. Yeah, sorry, I lost my words there for a second. So, just for you here, you know how much I love goats?
With a passion.
Oh, I love goats. In case anybody's wondering, I love goats. And I don't mean in a bad, creepy way.
He's talking about Tom Brady.
The goat. There we go. So, Recon by Fire, they have a goat named, I can't remember what the goat's name is.
Abigail, wasn't it?
No, it's something else.
Yeah.
But, everybody else parked down closer to the range, and I was hanging out with Bud and whatever, so I put my car up there and whatever, and up away from the range. Bud will get mad at me for talking about this. he's going to, but it was funny.
Yeah.
I didn't see the humor in it at the moment.
At the time, no.
but one of his goats decided she was going to be queen of her castle. And the queen of her castle was going to be my Impala. I walked up the hill, come around the corner, and I'm out away from everybody, and there's a goat on my... I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. At the moment, I didn't see the humor in it. Since then, it's become a lot funnier. But it was just... it was one of them deals like, I'm really glad I left my rifle down at the range when I walked up there. I don't know what the difference between goat and sheep is as far as like lamb chops, but I would think we're at least going to have some tenderloin, because I've heard goat tastes like whitetail. Which Tony's going to kill me for saying that. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah. He'd be out.
Oh, yeah. She'll be like, you ain't touching my goats. Yes, ma'am. Don't kill me. Please don't hurt me.
So something I want to hear from Robert. As a guy that's never shot a match, let's say you hypothetically, you've got your Savage B-22, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a 92.
It's a Monarch 2.
Oh, okay.
Mark 2.
Or Mark 2.
Yeah.
Mark 2, yeah.
Well, you remember Brandon's laminated stock one?
Yep.
He brought? Looks just like it.
Okay. I'm gonna sneeze.
Uh-oh.
If I can hold it off. Anyway,
We'll cut that.
So, as a shooter or a guy that's never been to a shoot, and you've got this 22, you're gonna say you hit Chris up for an optic, pair of rings, you get it mounted, you buy some ammo, and you get it 0 to 50 yards. You want to go to a match. What would your probably say 5 initial questions be from a perspective of somebody that wants to get into the sport but has never done it? What are you going to ask Chris? What's going to be your first 5 questions?
I guess my first question would be what to expect.
Okay.
And this is even me going, I don't know Chris on that level, and I haven't seen his videos and this and that, let's say. This is me going, am I shooting at a bench? Am I shooting off the ground? And he's like, oh no, you're shooting off a rooftop, you're shooting off. Yeah. I'm like, okay. like that's I guess, what am I coming into?
Yeah.
And then I guess my second question would be, what kind of ranges are we looking at? What kind of targets are we looking at? Because like the ornaments over there, or golf balls, or are we shooting steel or paper? How long? Where? Those general questions. But yeah, for the most part, it would be that. What kind of conditions are we looking at? What are we shooting off of? What are we shooting? That would pretty much be it. What do I need?
Yeah.
That's
gear-wise. That's the big one. That's probably the number one question often guys ask is, what do I need to bring? And the answer to that question, to the best of my ability, is honestly...
Not much.
Not much. For 22 and even centerfire, man, you can be pretty competitive with one good bag. The bag I recommend, which they can be pricey, but the thing about this I really want to get into is this sport is so awesome with good competitors that we have new guys often never match. Sure. If you come to my range and you never shot before and you said, man, this is my first shoot, here's a bag. Take it. Let me know how you like it. If you want one, I can probably hook you up with one, or at least tell you where to get one.
We will supply you with a Black Branch Shooting Sports Gecko
Absolutely.
2. I really appreciate all the shooters out there who have used my discount code. I'm being serious, as funny as it is. I do have a list of who all you are, and I don't have my phone on me, or else I would give you shout outs by name. But again, really appreciate it. You're helping out Black Branch. You're helping out Midwest Long Range. Good Lord, I need another beer. Anyway, sorry. I got to do my shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Well, the thing is, it's really not. It truly is shameless because I shot their stuff before me and Brett ever got involved together. Sure. Like, they make a great product, and I wouldn't do that if they didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big one is always, like he said, what you need.
Yep.
And that's where I keep
and that comes all
people.
the way down to, truly, what do you need? And it's something as simple things that people might not have coming in basic. Some people might not have a bipod coming in.
Very true.
Yep.
They might just have their 1022 sitting in their closet.
Mm-hmm.
Or
and that's something I actually would. That's a good point. Like, I never really thought about it that way, because a lot of people. I've never looked at it from that raw of a perspective, right? Because I had a basic knowledge of it.
Sure.
Where you genuinely don't, you haven't shot any matches, you don't really follow it, but knowing you the way I do, I know this is something you could go way down a rabbit hole on.
Oh, yeah.
But
what do you mean? I never do that.
No, never. How many Matthews bows do you own?
3.
Yeah.
3. Are you sure?
At the time, man.
Just Matthews.
Those are just Matthews. But anyway, so it's like, I didn't actually think about it like that. Yeah. Somebody literally may just have a Ruger 1022 with a sling on it that they use for squirrel hunting. They hear about a match on Thursday. They don't have time.
Yep.
If it's Saturday, they heard about it on Thursday. They're like, man, I don't have anything going on this weekend. I'd love to go try that.
So,
but here, even if you didn't have a bipod per se, let's use that piece of equipment just as an example. The hell with it. You know how many stages we actually use a bipod on? Next to freaking none. I mean, if it ain't prone, I don't hardly use it.
Yeah.
And then everybody's willing to loan you a bag.
Yeah.
The only thing I see, there's one piece of gear that I personally view as almost essential anymore.
A rifle.
You're an ass. Damn it. But yes, a rifle. But what I was getting at is that person that has that, like, say you had your Savage.
Sure.
And you were going to come shoot with us. There's one piece of gear on your rifle that's going to hinder you worse than anything else you have. And that's your optic.
I was going to say the glass on it is.
Well, because you're shooting probably a second focal plane.
Yep.
With cap turrets, I'd imagine.
Yep.
Knowing you.
Yep.
That is going to be a hard deal to overcome.
Yep.
So in a lot of cases, like at the matches we have, and I know I told Cully Majors a couple weeks ago, I asked him, hey, do you have any shooters need loaner rifles or whatever? 9 times out of 10, if I was going to recommend to somebody like you, if you were to call me up and say, hey, I want to go shoot this match, what should I do? I'm like, well, call the match director, tell them how green you really are, and tell them what rifle you have, and you do not own a front focal plane optic for that rifle. See if they have any loaners you can rent or whatever, because nothing's more frustrating than going out there. You might be able to hit the 50 and 100-yard targets with your holdover, maybe. But once you break 100, things are going to get real weird real quick.
And not only that, but the reticles we have in our first focal plane optics, man, we use them all the time. It's really an invaluable tool, and really even like dialing. I mean, if you had a good reticle, you don't have to dial if you couldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't have to dial. I mean,
preferred, but
yeah. So I mean, you get out 300 yards.
Yeah.
You probably ought to dial.
Maybe to kind of answer that though, if you didn't have an optic, and I think you'll agree with me on this, the top 2 scopes in my mind that I can send a brand new guy has no idea what he's looking for would be number 1, probably the Athlon Argos BTR Gen 2.
Okay.
6 to 24, first focal plane, mil turret, mil reticle, 30 mil rings, which are pretty easy and cheap to get. And the second would probably be the Arkin EP4.
No, you mean the SH4 Gen 2.
SH4 Gen 2, thank you.
EP4 was an older one. I think they discontinued it. But right now, the Arkin SH4 Gen 2, which you shot yesterday, it's sitting over on that black rifle.
Yep.
That is essentially, at least in my opinion, probably for shooters who are genuinely serious and doing the research, it's probably the top rimfire PRS NRL scope at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
The Vortex Diamondback Tactical, the Diamondback Tactical, great little optic, but doesn't have zero stop.
Yep.
Front focal plane, good reticle, you know, whatever, no zero stop.
Yeah.
And for the same money, you can buy that scope that has zero stop, 34 mil tube, like ridiculous turrets.
Yeah.
I've never shot an Argos. I've shot the Midases and the Ares and all that stuff.
I don't own one, but what I've been behind of the Gen 2 line, man, the glass is exceptional. And they used to have the shimmed stop.
Yeah.
Did away with that. It's now mechanical stop for us, best of my knowledge. I may be lying, but I'm pretty sure it's mechanical. But yeah.
I mean, there's several optics that fit that range, right? The Arkin SH4, the Argos, the Ride-On X3 Conquer 6 to 24. I mean, if you had one sitting around, a Vortex Diamondback 6 to 24, 4 to 16 tactical, I would not use them. I mean, Bud Weber uses one to this freaking day.
Yeah.
I mean, but no zero stop.
No zero stop.
If you go more to full rotation, you better be remembering how far you went, because going back's going to be a little more difficult. But and then, I mean, other companies are coming out with budget front focal planes.
New scope
I know Hawk and Blackhound and some of these more budget-friendly companies are really jumping on this deal.
Old Bushnell has the Match Pro, which
you can't hardly beat that damn thing.
It's a little higher than the scopes we're talking about, but I
thought it was like what, $400 or $500.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, I mean, it may not be far off. Yeah,
the Arkins, I think $469 now, which they're running 30% off right now. You can get them for like $325.
Yeah.
It's freaking ridiculous.
On the bipod aspect, just kind of touch on that, like you mentioned.
You don't need much.
Well, I never thought about it this way. You said they heard about the match on Thursday and it's Saturday. You've got 2 days. Man, if I was in a scramble like that, like you're talking, you got a Mark II Savage or a 1022 Ruger, they're not going to have pick rails usually. It's getting more common every day, but they're damn sure not going to have an Arca.
No.
And
that's you're going to do is a
sling stud. And to be honest, man, in a pinch, you can go to Walmart, buy a Blackhawk, or I think it's Champion brand. Champion. Knock off Harris, man, it works.
I was going to say, I saw one laying around yesterday.
I mean,
that one's a pick rail one, but
yeah, I mean,
that's a Caldwell.
That's a Caldwell. And
that's usually on Wyatt's little Ruger.
There's nothing on this that's going to hinder you from shooting a match. Is there better to be had? Absolutely, but you're not going to be hindered.
I would argue, even in some cases, the way these go into two positions versus what some of our stuff is.
Yep.
They're simpler. Yep. Not as much to worry about. You grab one of those AccuTacs over there. As much as I love them, there's a lot of stuff they're different.
Yeah.
Sure. If you're not used to it, it ain't gonna help you none, I promise. Yep. But
so we covered scope, bipod, bag. Like I said, you're not really going to go to Walmart and pick up a bag that's going to be helpful.
Just go to the match and borrow
one.
Right.
Yeah.
Just borrow one.
The only other thing I can think of from a brand new shooter perspective is
CCI standard velocity.
Yeah, GCI standard velocity. You can go to Walmart, pick it up.
Do not go to the match with high velocity ammo. Unless you know your rifle exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of people out there hate what I just say, okay? But if you come to that match with CCI Stingers, short of wherever you're zeroed, you're probably not going to hit a damn thing. And like the people on TikTok hate me right now because I shoot all this slow ammo. Yeah. And they're like, use a CCI Stinger. I'm like, oh my God, no. We shoot SK and Lapua and Ely and RWS for a reason. Consistency. But if you're looking for consistency on a budget that would work out of your rifle, it's going to be hard to beat
CCI standard. Yep.
You're going to go to a match and be competitive.
Yep, absolutely. But with that,
you can be competitive.
I ain't going to say you have to have it, but it's going to help you tremendously, a cheap ballistics app. Matter of fact,
you can download a free one.
You can download a free one, Straylock. You can get the Pro for $12 if you really want to throw a little bit of money at it, which I want to say I would recommend. But I mean, you're set up. I mean, you have no reason to be not competitive.
Exactly. I mean, is there one thing we're going to do is we're going to find you a match out there by where you're at, and one of these times when you're out here, you're going to come on a match weekend. And I'm going to take you to one out here, but even if I got to come to Oregon and take you to one my damn self, we will find one and we will go shoot it. But with that being said, I mean, any final thoughts? We probably went over on what I thought was time. Whiskey is not a final thought.
No, it's not.
I mean, it is. It's called blacked out.
10-4. Come on in, rubber ducky.
The only thing I can think of is for everyone that's watching this and has participated in the MWLR series, guys, thank you. It means a lot to us that we've got as many shooters as we do. Getting more and more members on the page every day. Shoot, I'll be honest, there was 1 or 2 matches we've had, even though we only had 3. I figured we have a lower head count than we did, but we've actually kept up really good with numbers.
We have.
I mean,
we have.
For a brand new series coming out the gate.
Yeah, we've done really well. Like he said, obviously, thank everyone for coming to the matches. If you're not familiar with the series, if you're out in places like he is, and you're just interested in the sport itself, I mean, we run matches in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas. Obviously, that's not going to help you, right? You're in Oregon. But you could jump on our Facebook page, Midwest Long Range Rimfire Series, if you search it on Facebook. Jump on the Facebook group and just ask questions, right? You know, you could pose a question like, hey, does anybody know of anything out here? There may be somebody already in the group that can help you, or may have a connection to people out there. Like I know some great guys up in the north, Northwest Guns, Derek Streeter and those guys that might be able to help point you in a direction. He's a little further east of you. I think he's in Montana, Wyoming area. But, you know, anyway, we could find people to help. Also, you know, to the local guys that are in Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Illinois, all those guys, the whole central United States right here in the Midwest is, I mean, why do we call it? Watch out with that dirt dauber. Sorry, I got distracted. There's a bug. Squirrel. But, you know, go to the Facebook group. Join the group. It doesn't cost. Obviously, it doesn't cost a dime. It's a free. You know, you jump in there. There's a lot of good conversations around topics in the sport, rifles, gear, etc. We're posting pictures all the time. If you guys want to follow along with us, for the guys local, jump in the group. You know, come to a match. Come shoot with us. The schedule's on there. I'm sure I'll probably throw it right here. Editing magic when you watch that, there'll be a bam. We'll throw some stuff out there. There's 6 more. Well, by the time you guys see this, there'll be 5 more matches to go in the season. Right now there's 6 more. We're looking at adding a 10th match, a finale event. We're not 100% sure on location of that just at this time. But also, you know, we encourage everybody to join the series, the points race itself. Get a hold of us. We can talk you through all that and help you, you know, just kind of go through it and figure out what you need. But with all that being said, I don't really know what else to talk about.
No.
I want to go see Top Gun and drink beer and fuck off for the rest of the day.
Have a good meal.
Amen, brother. Well, guys, it's been fun.
Yep.
I appreciate y'all for joining in with us. Hopefully we can get Robert out with us, and maybe you'll see me with him in the fairly near future out west. We'll come out there and visit your people. They're different people.
Esque. Up north, they're different people.
Well,
we don't accept them.
We don't accept them. So, Midwest Long Range, appreciate everybody for coming, having a drink with us. We'll see you next time right here. Stay safe. Keep shooting.